Shalom everyone, my name is Yuval. I'm the founder of YUV.AI community in Israel, and I also work as data and machine learning scientist. I'm so excited to talk about AI and machine learning and automations. In this channel, I'm going to speak a lot about technical content in the least technical language I can. And this is what I do, this is what I'm good at. And today, I'm so excited to finally start sessions in English talking about great content. And all right, without any further ado, let's just get into it. So first of all, on the left-hand side, you can see my LinkedIn page, and you can just go ahead and add me in. I'm Yuval Avidani. This is me. You can see I post a lot, all right? So get used to it. I know that many posts of mine are in Hebrew, so you can just right click on the page on the browser and select translate to English if you're using Chrome. So you can just see my post in English. And same goes for my website, which is literally YUV.AI. I know this is in Hebrew, so just right click, translate to English, and you'll get the content all in one place. You can get the AI avatar, you can read my articles and enjoy my my blogs. So this is for who am I, all right? So you can just feel free to add me and as a connection. So the agenda for today's episode would be to discuss about automations with LLMs, which stands for large language models, which are the models that we use in ChatGPT. I assume that you are familiar with ChatGPT or Claude or Cohere or any other language model. So today I do want to introduce Make.com, which is a great automation tool. I know there are many that are familiar with Zapier, but I'm going to talk about Make.com. And I'm also going to discuss Cohere language model. So actually, we're going to dive deep into all these, and our goal would be to create some automation process that uses RSS feed. We will see what this is, and we will learn how we can use the RSS feed to post to social media or Slack or any Discord channel. So let's just jump into it. So first of all, I think the basic would be to define what automation is. So since I want to talk about Make.com, let's just write in the browser Make.com. Simple as that, all right? So once you'll write Make.com in the browser, you'll get into the home page, and you can clearly see that you'll have some scenarios, some workflows. As you can see, you have these nodes, these circles, that each one is its own process. And I'll explain what this means in a second. But first of all, just let me increase the size of the browser for a second so it'll be easier for all of us. And we can also stay and keep the flow of this session, so we always have the agenda in front of our eyes. So going into Make.com, scrolling down a bit, we can just get the impression of what this website is all about, but I can just save you time and say, all right, we have this workflow that we will build for each automation process that we want to create. So this goes from the left side to the right. So the first circle, so to speak, is actually our trigger. So in this example, we see that we have a purple circle, and underneath it, we'll see fill out form, which means that each time some form is being filled in, right, and being submitted, then we want to trigger an action. So each time this operation will occur, we will try to understand and try to define which triggers, which automation process we want to set up. So let's just log in. Up here on the right hand side, we can click either on login if you already have an account, but if you don't have an account, you can just click get started for free, and you do have 1,000 operations per month for free. An operation is just simple as running one circle. So if you have 1,000 circles in your workflow, or the professional word will be the scenario, then it'll cost you the 1,000 credits you have per month. So just sign up with your Google account or Facebook or your email. I already have my own account, so I can just click on login with my Google account. So I have many email addresses. I can just use each one I want. Let's just select one of these. It doesn't really matter. And in one click, I'm inside my account in make.com, which is the automation tool we are going to use. All right. So first of all, what you can immediately see that we have this options on the left hand side, right? We have the organization, we have the team, scenarios, templates, and so on. Now we can quickly go over each one, but you can also see that these options on the left also appear up here as tabs, right? Most of it. So if we want to create some automation process, the workflow will be to log in, and then we can just create a new scenario. But first, before creating a new scenario, let's just go over the options. So we do have the option to create an organization. We don't have to. If you have a company, if you have an organization, then you can create. Then you can create your own team and assign users and so on. But actually, what we need to do just to get started is to go to scenarios and create our own. Now, currently, I didn't create any scenario with this account, so we will start from scratch. And this is on purpose because I want you to see how is it to start from scratch and not just to get some prepared scenario. But we also do have the option to browse in templates. Okay, so we can use pre-built templates if we'd like. And by pre-built templates, I mean we already have scenarios that make.com built for us, like templates we can use. So we can search for certain scenarios, like if I'll search for, say, Slack. And if you're not familiar with Slack, it's just a messaging platform. This is really easy and convenient, and many companies use it. So if I'd like to use Slack, I can just search for it, and then I'll see all the templates that already contains Slack in it. So just I want to start on a fresh scenario, an empty one, and I click on scenarios, and I will start on create a new scenario, because my goal today is to listen for some RSS feed, all right? And I'll explain what this is in a second. But my goal is to listen to this news update, all right? And based on this news update, I want to post something on social media or on Slack just for tasting sakes. And maybe in this session, we will post to Slack because it's much easier for testing. So first step would be to get familiar with this blank canvas we just got. And by holding the command key if you're using Mac, or control if you're using Windows, and also scrolling up or down with the wheel on the mouse, you can just zoom in or zoom out. Okay. And the first thing I usually do is just to name the scenario. Instead of empty scenario or new scenario, I'm going to say RSS feed to Slack. Okay, this will be the easiest testing we could do. So as you see, we have this circle in purple in the middle of the screen, and I can just click the plus sign, and then I will have, if you see the menu, you have the small bar on the right hand side, and as I scroll down, you can see I have so many options. Really, I have, I think, about 1,600 options, which is a lot, and this is excluding the web hooks and other connections we can define, API connections and other connections. But to keep it simple, just bear in mind that we have so many options, all right, we can use. So I want to use RSS, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to select the retrieve RSS feed item, which means I will select some news resource I would like to address. and I would like to retrieve news from some news feed, right? So I will click retrieve RSS feed item, and that's it. Now I need to provide the information. Which information? The first one will be the URL. All right, I need to provide the news resource I'd like to follow in order to retrieve information about. Now let's take an example just to show how this RSS process is very, very straightforward. Then also I'll open a new tab and I'll write, like, let's say NBA RSS feed. Say I like basketball, which is correct, and I want to follow, I want to get some news update each time so sport article has been published. Or it could be also technology, saying I really like Apple products, which is also true. I can say Apple RSS feed, and all of a sudden we can see that we have the Apple website, the official Apple website, and inside we have the RSS information. So just by clicking on RSS information, we can see we are being directed to Apple website, which holds RSS feeds. And by RSS feeds, we need to understand that it just stands for getting information from some website. Okay, it could be a news website, it could be a sports website, technology website, it doesn't matter. Most of the websites today does have RSS feed in it. So by going to Apple, let's say I want to get the RSS feed, which means I want to get the updates from Apple's. Let's say I can select the Apple newsroom, which is the Apple blog. Now, 1 second, what just happened, right? This looks spooky, scary, right? But this is how RSS feed looks like. This is just a big, huge file with plenty of information in it, which actually is just a summarization of articles being published. So just so you can see it visually as well, if I were to write Apple Newsroom in Google or in your favorite browser, and I would click on it, then I can see I have articles in here, right? But if I go to the RSS feed, I can't understand anything from it because it looks like a complete mess. But if I will try just to read it from left to right, I can see something which stands for XML. All right, this is a type of a file. And I can see we have title, the word title in here. And I can see I have something saying Apple Newsroom. And I have another title. And I have links in here, and I have some text in here. So just by looking, eyeballing the big blob of text I have in here, I can see that I have some link that says Apple Vision Pro arrives in China, mainland, Hong Kong, Japan, and Singapore. Okay, I have something that is related to Apple Vision. Now going back to the Apple Newsroom, I can see that the location I've received is IL, which stands for Israel, where I actually live. But I know that it depends on where we are getting the RSS information from, okay? Because this is the RSS feed from apple.com itself. So if I were to go to this link attached in here, which is the Apple Vision Pro something, I have this complete link that is will take me to an image in this case, and I will paste it in the browser. You see, I got this image. Now, just so we can understand what happened, we searched for Apple RSS feed for Apple Newsroom, which is Apple's blog. I got some link, I pasted it, and I got an image from this blob of text. So we can definitely understand that this blob of text represents articles, okay? So just so you can see how simple this is, I can just take the link from the web browser URL, okay? And I can just paste it within make.com. So just keep in mind that when you want to take some RSS feed, just know that in the browser itself, in the search field up here, you'll have a file ending with .rss, which stands for RSS file feed. So by highlighting the entire URL, copying and pasting it in the URL field within make.com, you will see what will happen in a second. So I have the URL. I'm retrieving information from Apple's RSS feed, and I can select from the data of which I want to retrieve the information from. I can leave it blank in this case. This is what I do. I don't want to insert any date currently, but I do want to note how many items I would like to withdraw, right, to get. Because as we can see, we have articles in here, and there are plenty of articles, not just one. So in our case, I would like to get only one because I want to test only one. I don't want to get too many. So let me write in here one and click OK. Now we have the trigger all set up. By right clicking on the circle, okay, on the node, on the circle, on the module, because this is actually a module, right clicking on the module, I can select run this module only. And by clicking on it, I can see that something happened, some process happened. I have this green arrow, right? This V arrow, which stands for success. We don't have a red one that stands for error, but we do have the green one, which stands for success. And we also can see we have some number on the right-hand side, the upper right-hand side. Now, if I'll click on that number with a mouse, then I can see some fields has just popped up. Now, what the heck is this thing, right? So actually what we see here is the response. Like we sent a request using the browser, using make.com to Apple's RSS feed to this URL. And actually what we retrieved was all this blob of text, but we wanted only one item, right? So we got only the latest one, the newest one. So in here, we can see that we did address the Apple newsroom URL, and we can see that the output, which means the response we got from Apple URL, is actually the ID of the article which we saw, the Apple Vision Pro something. But now look how beautiful this is. We have the ID of the article itself. Now, if I'll paste it in the browser, you can see we get the actual article. How cool is that? So, okay, we have the ID of the article, we have the title, we have the description, we have the URL to the article, and we also have further fields like the image, which is currently empty. We have the categories, we have one photo, we have source and enclosures. We can absolutely see the link to the image. Like we need to play with the options we have in here, okay? We need to just open all the pluses, okay? So we can see the data. Now, why this is meaningful at all? Because now the beautiful thing about automation begins. So we have the trigger, we have something we want to retrieve, right? Now, what would be our next step? So let's say our first step would be to get the information from Apple and just send it automatically to Slack. So let me drag Slack in here. Now, this is Slack. Welcome. If you're not familiar with Slack, you can just download it or use the web version. Just type in Slack in Google, and you can get to this platform, which is really great. I really like it, especially for testing and much more. So I'm going to use this in this example. So I have Slack, and it built in such a way that we have direct messages, we have some notifications, and we have spaces, which is our channels. So we have channel, all right? And I can create a new channel for our testing. I'm just clicking this small arrow, create, and create a channel. And I'll say YouTube English. All right, I'm going to click next. It's going to be a public channel. I don't mind it to be public. All members can join, sure, why not? And the fun part would be now to connect from RSS on make.com to this beautiful channel we've just created. So how can I do this? So by hovering on this module, I can click on the plus sign, And then on the menu, okay, I can select the next connection I'd like to create. So this will be Slack, right? In my example. So I see I have this verified sign, which means that Make actually verify that this application was actually developed by Slack and not some, third-party vendor or some hacker. So I'm going to select create a message because I want to get the trigger and create a message on Slack. So create a message and then I can create a connection. And by creating a connection, I mean let's connect to my account on Slack because we do need to connect Make to Slack so I can actually trigger the automation and send the action, set the newsfeed into Slack channel. So connection type, I will click on the drop down, this arrow, and select user. And from users, I can give it a name, connection name. So I can say new Slack testing for YouTube. Okay, just any name. I'll click on save and then I would have to log in with my account, give it the permissions. I already logged in, so I will just click allow. And in a second, you will see that the connection has been created. Now, I can either enter manually the ID of the channel, but I can also click on the drop down and click select from a list. And by selecting from a list, I do use a public channel. And now we can select automations, the YouTube English channel, which is this one we created, right? So now the beautiful thing starts. I selected the public channel, and now what is the text that I want to send to the channel? So the text I want to send to the channel, know this, when I will click on this text field, now the beautiful part of make.com is that I can see all the fields that has been retrieved from the RSS request from Apple. So actually now I can design the message as I want. I can say like, I have this cool keyboard taking all my space on the table. So I can say like, hey, Yuval, check this awesome new post by Apple. And then I can just, type in enter and select the fields I want to send to Slack. Let's start with title, then new line. I can give the description. I can take also the URL to the original article, and I can maybe type in 2 dashes and we'll say source Apple Newsroom because it's important to give credit, right? Newsroom. So I just designed the message. Okay, I will click OK. Now, no, the magic happens in action. So we have the Slack channel and we have the connection. Once I will click on run once, look what would happen. Run once, boom, we have the message being retrieved from Apple Newsroom, right? And being sent automatically to Slack. Now, the cool part in here was actually we got a newsfeed, but the cool part is that we can set timer. Let's say we want to use this automation instead of minutes, we want to say at regular intervals, which means we want this automation to run once a day, once a week, once a month. But we also can say at regular intervals, and we can select how many minutes. Let's say if we want 6 hours, so I can just select 360 minutes, right? Which stands for 6 hours. So I can just click OK. And now I see every 6 hours. If I were to turn this thing on, now every 6 hours, I would try to retrieve the latest update from the Apple's RSS feed, and it will be pushed automatically to Slack. Now, if this is my workspace, then every 6 hours, if there is a new update, I would get some push message and I would say, Yuval, note this new great update. How cool is this? So after setting this up, and we can see that it's working, right? So let me turn off the automation. And I just wanted you to see another thing by right-clicking and selecting add a module and clicking RSS. Now, you do have two options, retrieving RSS feed, which means take this RSS feed and look in it, or if we were to try and use it from now on, we would select watch RSS feed items. And this means when new item is being added to the RSS feed, take this one, and this is what I want you to send to me, because this is when new article has been published. So this is the nuance between these two. Back to our scenario, I'm going to right click and delete this module. Now, the cool part in here is, what if we don't want to create this, to take the original text as is, but we do want to take some AI in it? What could we do? So first of all, I can right click and unlink the connection. And then instead of just sending the message as is from RSS feed to Slack, I can just click on the module and select, let's say, GPT. If I want to use OpenAI, or if I want to use any other language model, let's look for Anthropic, Claude, if you're familiar with, which is awesome as well. Or also we can use Cohere, which I personally really like. So if I want to use Cohere for creating a conversation, which means text completion, then what I would have to do is to create a connection to Cohere. Now, just so we all be aligned, I can right click, open a new tab and type in Cohere in Google. And I will get to this company's webpage. Now, Cohere is a company like OpenAI and like Anthropic, which developed its own products. LLM, large language model, which is called Command R+, which is the flagship, right? The state-of-the-art model for Cohere. So this company actually has awesome solutions for using large language models and classification, and many cool problems they solve and use cases. I really like them. So by going to Cohere and clicking on Try Now, you will be asked to log in with your account, create your account. I will also log in with my Gmail account. And what I would have to do is to connect make.com to Cohere in order to use their large language model for free. Okay, so once I'm in here, I would go to the left-hand side to API keys, and I can select or click on create new trial key. And I can say YouTube, just give it a name, generate trial key, and I can copy this key. And you can see that by going to make.com, by clicking on create a connection, I would have to type in this API key, which I just pasted. Now, keep your API key secret, and once published it or revealing it, you need to regenerate it so no one else would be able to use it. So after this video, I would delete this key and generate a new one. Okay, so just keep in mind that API key should be stored safely. So that's it. I'm going to click save, and I have the connection to Cohere. Now, I can design the message in the same way I used in Slack, which means by clicking on message, I have the text field. I can type in whatever I want. I can type in whatever I want. But in this case, instead of just taking the values from the RSS feed, what I would do is to give the prompt, meaning I want to give the AI, the LLM, the large language model, the instructions of creating a new article and not just taking the current values. So this means something like create, let's say, a short post for a Slack push update based on the following text. Now I could say title is title. Right here, new line. And I can say, I don't need actually to write a title and so on. I think it's self-explanatory. I just wanted to show you we can design it as we wish. So let's take the title, the description, and I think author, okay? Maybe author, I will say author, okay? Okay, create a new short post. And then what I would say, note to indicate the author's name. Okay, in this case, it's Apple Newsroom. And also, do not exceed no, let's say, and also write it in 100 tokens maximum. So tokens is this method which we use to split words into subwords, which means like if we have the word create, then the language model will split it into Cree and 8. Not necessarily in this part, but the idea is to split the sentences into smaller chunks. This is how large language model works, all right? They need to take the sentences and split it. So the parts being splitted, each one is a token, and there's a complete logic behind it. But the idea is that once we say just generate something which is 100 tokens maximum, this means the larger language model, the LLM, to keep it short, okay? Up to 100 tokens, which is about, I don't know, 90 words, so to speak, approximately. So we have the prompt, which is the text that will be fed into the language model, which in this case is Cohere. In model, we can select different models. I'm going for Command R+, which is the latest one. Maximum tokens, I can just give it 150 just in case. But we did say use only 100, so it doesn't really matter. I click on OK, then I will click on the plus sign and drag it all the way to Slack. Now, keep in mind that we would have to change the Slack message. Instead of just taking the fields from the RSS feed, we will return the response we will get from Cohere. So instead of these fields, we will just take the text response. By the way, as you can see, at first we had only the orange fields, which stands for the orange module. Now we have the green module from Cohere, and we have the green fields. So I'll take the text response. I just drag it into here, and the source, instead of hard coding it, I can also just take the author from here, or I can just remove it completely, because in the prompt I said give me back the author's name. So I can just remove it. So now, just recapping things, we have the RSS feed from Apple, we have the connection to Cohere language model, and we have the connection to Slack. Now, my expectation is that once I will click on the Run Once button, I will get the same article, but being rewritten by the AI, okay? So this is the part, the text we got. And now just let's create some delimiter, some separation. Okay, so we could follow what is the previous part and what is the newest part. So let's click on Run Once and let's pray for it. All right, we have the green one going in and boom, we have it. You see, now this is the first message, and now the second message is, hi Val, check this awesome new post by Apple. Now, this was the initial headline, and let's see. Apple Vision Pro is now available in Apple stores across China, Hong Kong, Japan, and Singapore. A big hello to our users in East and Southeast Asia. You see this? And we have the author as well. So the original post was, it didn't contain this big hello, right? A big hello to our users in East and Southeast Asia. We don't have it in here. We just have the names of the locations. So how cool is this? That we just, in about half an hour from scratch, we understood what is Make.com, what is automation, what is language model, and how we can use Cohere as a language model, the AI, to connect our automations to AI and to follow some RSS feed, get updates from Apple's newsroom and send it automatically to Slack in this case. And also we talked about how to set the intervals in which we want to define our automation. So I think this is so cool, and I think this is a great new lesson. And if you'd like my content, I will be thrilled if you could just, like, subscribe, write comments, ask questions, ask me, tell me what you thought about this lesson. Which more content would you like me to record for you? So just keep in mind, the last part is that we don't need to use just Slack. We can use any other module. Right clicking and selecting add a module. We can look for Facebook and we can post to Facebook page. We can write in LinkedIn and we can post to LinkedIn account. We can use Instagram and we can connect to Instagram. We can use Gmail and we can send it to Gmail. We can use Google Sheets and we can send it to Google Sheets. I think you got the idea. So this is really powerful tool. See, and this is completely free. They make a basic subscription. The free subscription has 1,000 operations. Each one is an operation, as I said. So we have 1,000 of these per month. You can make it to run. You can set it to run automatically. And also the use for Cohere at this point of recording is completely free with the API key in reasonable usage. And I think this whole thing, which is called a scenario from scratch, to a point where we can just click on actually turn it on. It says we have an error. This is because we need to change the retrieve RSS feed into watch RSS feed. But once I click on turn it on, then it will be up and running. So I hope you liked it, and we'll see you in the next videos. All right, bye.